"What are you?" Obina whispered, reaching out to touch the mask. The moment his fingers made contact with the cool wood, a searing pain shot through his body. Obina cried out, stumbling backward, the pain centered in his groin, growing more intense with each passing second. "What's happening to me?" Obina shouted, his voice bouncing off the walls of the empty shrine. The sound of his own scared voice made him even more frightened. Obina felt a strange tingling sensation in his lower body. It started as a small itch, but quickly grew into a burning feeling that he couldn't ignore. His heart began to race, and sweat broke out on his forehead. With shaking hands, Obina grabbed the edge of his wrapper, the cloth he wore around his waist. He was scared to look, but he knew he had to. In one quick motion, he yanked the wrapper down. What Obina saw made him scream so loud that birds flew from the nearby trees. His manhood, the part that made him a man, was getting smaller right before his eyes. It was shrinking as if someone was squeezing it like a sponge. Obina watched in horror as it got smaller and smaller until finally it disappeared completely. His legs felt weak, and he fell to his knees on the dusty floor of the shrine, unable to believe what he was seeing. Where his manhood had been. There was now only smooth skin, like the skin on his arm or leg. "This can't be real," Obina thought. He reached down with a trembling hand and touched the area. He hoped that he would feel something, that maybe his eyes were playing tricks on him. But as his fingers touched the smooth skin, he knew it was true. His manhood was gone. "No, no, no," Obina cried out. Tears began to roll down his face, dripping onto the dirt floor of the shrine. "This can't be happening. It's not possible." Obina looked up at the mask that stood in the middle of the shrine. In the dim light, it seemed to be laughing at him, even though its face didn't move. The strange symbols carved all over its body seemed to shine and move, as if they were alive. Desperate and scared, Obina crawled on his hands and knees towards the mask. His wrapper dragged in the dust behind him, but he didn't care. When he reached the mask, he looked up at its face, his eyes full of tears. "Please," Obina begged, his voice shaking. "Please give it back to me. I'm so sorry I touched you. I didn't know what would happen. I was just curious. Please, I'm begging you, undo this curse." But the mask didn't answer. It stood there, cold and silent, not moving or changing at all. Obina kept crying and pleading, hoping that somehow the mask would hear him and take pity on him. But nothing happened. Obina sat there on the floor of the shrine for a long time. He lost track of how long he had been there, crying and begging. The light coming through the cracks in the walls began to change color, turning orange and then red. Obina realized that the sun was setting. A new fear gripped him. He couldn't stay in this shrine all night. His family would wonder where he was. And what if the mask did something even worse to him in the dark? With a heavy heart, Obina knew he had to leave. He slowly got to his feet, his legs shaky and weak. He took one last look at the mask, hoping for a miracle, but it remained as still and silent as ever. Obina adjusted his wrapper, making sure it was secure around his waist. He wiped the tears from his face with the back of his hand and took a deep breath. Then, feeling more scared and alone than he ever had in his life, Obina stepped out of the shrine and into the fading light of day. As he walked home, Obina's mind raced with thoughts and questions.
Whatever happened next? There was no turning back now. Eager to find out what happened next in this story. Comment continue below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated with our latest releases. We truly appreciate your love and support so far. Let's keep the fire burning.